What's up, everybody? My name is Godzi, and welcome back to some more Umineko When They Cry Answers Arc. Last episode, we continued with Chapter 5. I should be calling it episode, because it's confusing. They're usually called chapters, but whatever. Last episode, we continued with Episode 5, End of the Golden Witch. And we saw the exact scene where Kraus, Natsuhi, the servants, and Nanjo first learned that Kinzo was dead, and a direct aftermath of it, and why they're trying to hide the death of Kinzo, because if they didn't, then Kraus would basically be fucking boned. So yeah, that happened. Also, the blue-haired chick. I got a couple comments. Apparently her name is Erica. I'm gonna assume me knowing her name is not a spoiler, because two people mentioned her name is Erica. If it was supposed to be, like, hidden or something, they wouldn't have said it. And I mentioned she probably has a cutesy voice. Apparently, no. She's not cutesy at all. So, yeah, I'll take that into account when she shows back up again. Apparently, she's really liked, so I'm gonna have to do justice for her voice, so I'll try my best. I try my best with every character, but I'll especially try with this one, because apparently, to some, she's even better than Beatrice, so wow, okay. Yeah, I'll do my best when she shows back up. I don't know how good my voice I gave her last episode was when the one line she had, but either way, yeah, I'll be sure to not fuck up with her. Even if it takes me a while to get a good voice for her, I'll try and get a good voice for her. But either way, let's continue from where we last left off. Once again, all of those who had witnessed Kinzo's corpse were gathered in the study. Kraus was still impatient and clutching at his head. Genji was as expressionless as ever. Nanjo and Kumasawa wore bewildered expressions on their faces. Now that I think about it, don't I press 3 and that, like, speeds up the text? Oh, yeah. Okay. I was wondering, yeah, the text speed seems much slower than it did in Questions Arc, and it came to me, yeah, I think I can change the text speed, but I pressed the number keys, yeah, okay. But in stark contrast to all of them, Natsuhi wore a resolute expression. Dear, let me ask you one more time. Your plan for raising money is absolutely certain? Yes. Give it a year, no, just half a year, and it will certainly bear fruit. But it's just impossible to hope for anything right now. Then we will wait. But you said it yourself. Father is already dead. Father has not passed away. He's still there, as healthy as ever. When Natsuhi said this, everyone jumped and looked up, because they instantly understood what those words meant. However, Kraus alone didn't get it right away and asked her. What do you mean by that? Father is already, in reality, right there. I will say it again. Father is still in good health. He is busy with his research, so he'll be even less able to leave his study than usual. Because of this, we must handle all external affairs ourselves, so that Father can devote himself to his research without being burdened by meaningless tasks. In short, nothing will change from the way things have been. Do you understand, Genji? Yes. The furniture of the one-winged eagle will continue to serve the master. Kumasawa, and you, Dr. Nanjo, do you understand what I'm saying? Oh, Is that truly alright, Natsuhi? It may be true that Father passed away today. But if everyone right here, right now, believes, we can revive Father with magic. It's impossible, madame. That's just too much. The time of death will be made clear during the autopsy. We can't stop it from looking suspicious. Father will not pass away, so there will be no reason for there to be an autopsy. Okay, so yeah, I'm assuming they're probably gonna hide Kinzo's body somewhere, likely the boiler room or something, and fake that he's still alive. In which case, basically every single scene that had Kinzo in it in Questions Arc never happened, except for maybe ones that happened before the actual death game, whatever the heck, the Twilights and all that. It's because we don't know exactly when this is in accordance with the next family meeting, right? But then again, I remember the very first scene of Chapter 1 had Kinzo, Nanjo, and Genji all talking to each other. Was Kinzo alive then? I don't think it really matters too much. Whatever. Of course, she wasn't planning to make it seem like Kinzo would live forever. The fake life given to Kinzo would only last until Kraus could repay his debts. After that, Kinzo's soul would finally be able to rest in peace. Nanjo repeatedly said that the time of death would be discovered during the autopsy, but Natsuhi kept saying that this wouldn't be a problem. Father will not pass away by being reported dead. Ah, I see. He'll be reported missing. After clapping his hands together, Kraus stood up, shaking his fists. Yes, once we've managed to pay back the debt and finish our preparations for laying Father to rest, we will then announce that Father has disappeared. Ah. Rokonjima's vast, uncultivated forest was the perfect place to stage a disappearance. One day, Kinzo would go out to the forest for a walk and never return. They would search for him without success and then be forced to report his disappearance. I see. If he disappears, we can file a report of his death, even without a corpse. In other words, we can hide him long enough to have him declared legally dead. What do you think, Dr. Nanjo? There won't be any problems that way. Yes, that might work. Is this really okay, madame? If we stay silent, then I'm sure we could keep the master's death a secret. However, if we were to slip up even once and let someone find out... Kumasawa, don't be so loud. Father's sleeping right over there, correct? Are you trying to wake him? She's really going ham with this lie. Which, I guess, yeah, of course Natsuhi would. It isn't a corpse. Kinzo is sleeping. As Natsuhi said that, Kinzo lay quietly on the bed as though there was nothing at all odd about her words. Interesting. This is elsewhere now, isn't it? Oh, hi, Beatrice. Come, try to remember. What form did you have? What sort of life did you enjoy? What's she doing? Reviving Kinzo or something? Yep, I guess so. Once again, a storm of gold butterflies started to swirl, covering Kinzo's cold body. I can breathe again! Then, after the butterflies exploded into fine gold powder and disappeared, just like those fairy tales that have been told over and over since long ago, Kinzo slowly opened his eyes and sat up. Father! Hello, good morning. Natsuhi, let me first make one thing clear. I did not coax you into doing this because of my attachment to life. You liar! Don't tell me you didn't anticipate this at least a little. How does it feel, Kinzo? How is your body? It isn't bad, but it feels somewhat like being in a dream. I feel light. You're a being that wasn't permitted to remain in this world, yet you still remain here. Don't start complaining about a little discomfort now. Is your body truly alright? Is it really okay? Actually, it feels quite pleasant. If this is what the world after death feels like, playing the ghost might not be half bad. How is this, Natsuhi? Kinzo has revived. That means a funeral is unnecessary. Your hardship has been resolved. But Beatrice... As Natsuhi tried to find words of gratitude amidst her confusion, Beatrice waggled her pointer finger and spoke. There is no need for thanks. A ruler is allowed to be proud. I will not pay heed to requests, but I will follow orders. Even so, I'll say it. Thank you. This way, you've bought some time for my husband. We will handle the rest. Be warned, Natsuhi. Kinzo may have revived, but that is not an eternal thing. It will only continue as long as my magic does. Be warned that the magic-resisting toxin might destroy the magic. You must understand the laws of magic correctly and work hard to maintain it. I can show you a miracle, but it is your role to grasp it and hold it. Of course, we definitely won't neglect the miracle you have given us. Very well. Yes, it would appear masters need to be changed out every once in a while, just like floor mats. Yeah, I like it. I shall serve you. Ushiromiya Natsuhi. I am the Ushiromiya family alchemist, the Golden Witch Beatrice. Call my name whenever you wish. I shall appear and grant you a miracle. Thank you. I am Ushiromiya Natsuhi. I will employ you and protect the honor of the Ushiromiya family. Oh wow, I was this close to the end of the scene. Okay. Just 10 minutes. Yeah, I would have been able to fit this in the last episode, I guess. Oh well. Can't do anything about that now. And so, where do we go now? Still following the Kinzo thing? The family conference of the previous year. Uh-oh, interesting. So Battler's not gonna be here. The Rose Garden was truly splendid this year. The roses were blooming like crazy, as if competing with each other. In that Rose Garden, Kinzo, Kanon, and Natsuhi could be seen. Once again, the flowers have grown wonderfully this year. It must be the result of your care. Thank you very much. The weather just happened to be good this year. Finally, the first line of canon. No more joking about every canon being furniture, cause here's the true canon furniture. Yes, finally. Thanks to your care, the garden is even more beautiful than usual. Good work. Thank you very much. If today weren't so special, we might have been able to admire the roses while enjoying some black tea. Kinzo shrugged. Today was the family conference. When it came to the other siblings' businesses, none of the news had been good. On the contrary, those siblings probably planned to turn the conversation to the topic of Kinzo's remaining life, and hold a quiet feud over the inheritance. Those people are quite unpleasant. By the way, what about Kraus? Is that debt repayment plan of his proceeding well? Oh, is this already after Kinzo's actual death then? It does seem to be a realistic plan. However, it's a plan on quite a large scale, and it doesn't seem to be bearing fruit quite as well as he expected. If possible, I would have hoped to have that resolved before today's family conference. Yes, my apologies. Who is speaking? Are you sure you're okay, Kinzo? Casually walking around in a place like that? Okay, Beatrice. How had she gotten up there? I'm in the sky, hello? Well, it's fairly pointless to wonder about that sort of thing when you're dealing with a witch. Beatrice was casually sitting on the roof of the arbor. Oh, almost as though she had been basking in the sun. And then she jumped down. Those relatives are like a massive lump of the magic-resisting toxin, and they'll be intruding in on us. If you bump into them, your soul will evaporate in an instant. Humph. I am already dead. Evaporating would be no detriment. We can't have that happen. Please, for the sake of the Ushiromiya family, lend us your strength just a little longer. Natsuhi? It seems the boat carrying the relatives has left the harbor. Perhaps it's about time to bring an end to this walk of yours. Is that so? Thank you. Please return to the study, Father. My. How tiresome to go back inside when the weather is this perfect. Don't grumble, Kinzo. Right now, you're nothing more than a ghost I gave life to. It'll be troublesome for both me and Natsuhi if you're scattered away by the toxin. Just be a good boy, shut yourself away in the study, and wrap a blanket around yourself or something. Humph. Merely receiving the chance to receive these roses after death makes me an extremely fortunate man. I understand. I shall return to the study. But I would like some black tea. Kanon, tell Genji to bring me some. Perhaps some Marco Polo would do well today. We don't have a pool. No, that's not what I mean, you idiot. Certainly. Then let us go our separate ways. Natsuhi, you must conduct the family conference splendidly in my absence. Of course, Father. He can't say it in front of them, but my husband is already the Ushiromiya family head. And I will do all I can to ensure that I don't embarrass him as his wife. Compared to Kraus, who's had a stomachache since this morning, you are so very composed, Natsuhi. My son is quite hopeless. My husband is talented in his own way. Supporting him where he's weak is my duty as his wife. Indeed. Carry out your task with precision. I will make sure to stay shut away, so that I don't get in the way of this farce.
Canon, go with father to the study, and then have Genji prepare some black tea.
I'm not so senile that I need your help to stand up. Here I go. Refusing Canon's attempt to lend him a hand, Kinzo rose from the flower bed he had been sitting on. The retired head left everything in Natsuhi's hands, and returned to the study at a gentle pace.
You're looking well. You possess a sense of dignity reminiscent of Kinzo's deceased wife. On the off chance that the magic-resisting toxin does reach father, will the magic dissolve in an instant? Indeed, in the blink of an eye, I can vanish whenever I please. But if somebody already dead, such as Kinzo, loses his form, he'll be instantly tossed away like dust by the winds of the sun. You must take care. Yes, I understand.
Is Jessica in on this too?
You may have talent as a witch. The magic-resisting toxin has been building up in your system over the years, and yet you are still able to understand magic. If you and I had met during your youth, you might have become a powerful witch by now.
Every female in the Ushiromiya family is a witch. Guaranteed.
I'm the wife of Ushiromiya Kraus, the family head. I would become even a witch or a demon to protect his honor. I am deeply grateful for the power of your magic. I wouldn't have been able to protect the honor of the Ushiromiya family without you. Let's discuss that at another time. I'd like to enjoy it with just the two of us women drinking tea. A friend of mine who went to Sri Lanka lent me some black tea with a wonderful rose fragrance. Oh, you mean Dimbula? That isn't bad. Then you should also have some patis on the side. You must serve me some as a reward if I manage to trick everyone for this entire family conference. It's a promise. Understood. I promise. Then I'll see you later. Yes, later.
I like the friendship between Natsuhi and Beatrice. It's cool. The witch made her body crumble into the rustling winds, became gold flower petals, and scattered into thin air. Natsuhi watched her go, then turned on her heels and headed for the mansion. And then there were none left in the rose garden. Where did Canon go then? He must have walked away or something. I don't know.
Okay then. It's break time. Got any complaints so far?
So this is just a game between Lambda Delta and Burncastle, just so far? Okay. Before Battler intervened?
None at all.
Oh, I scrolled.
If you have to pee, why not just go and do it?
What a rude thing to say. Kinzo is already dead, right? But he's walking around and talking, isn't he? Doesn't that mean this is magic? Of course, I doubt this move would work on you after all this time, Burn. But what about you, Battler? Isn't this weird? Don't you have to accept the existence of the magic that revived Kinzo?
Oh, Battler is here. Okay then, this isn't the beginning. If you're trying to imitate Beato, it's pissing me off, so stop it right now.
Figured it out? Then come on, how are you gonna answer, Battler? Kinzo was just out for a stroll. Why not act like you always do and start holding your head, crying, "This makes no sense!" Come on, use that old "it's all useless" catchphrase. Then give me one of your classic nonsensical counter-arguments. There's no way a human who's supposed to be dead could be walking around, right? Is this all because of some unknown virus called the Rokenjima syndrome that causes mass delusions? Great reference. I like that tie-in. But yeah, obvious answer. You said Kinzo's dead, so that's not Kinzo. It's just nothing. Herder. Or do the scales of a mysterious form of butterfly... Let me reread that sentence. Or do the scales of a mysterious form of butterfly that only lives on Rokenjima happen to be hallucinogenic? Or is it all because a mysterious secret organization called the Mountain Dogs made an as-of-yet undiscovered drug called Puro Puro Pico Puyo, which causes mass delusions? Let me hear tons of this wonderful crap.
Just shut up. This isn't even a problem. Grandfather is dead at this point in time. There's no way he exists. The only reason he's able to act like he's alive like this is because of Aunt Natsuhi's lie, her attempt to make it through the family conference while hiding grandfather's death.
Oh? It's Natsuhi's lie? Not Kaede's? You can revive the dead by lying? Wouldn't that make it Natsuhi's magic?
This world is like a brawn tube before you've looked in it. Oh, this again. It's the world of the cat box before you open it, and there's Schrodinger's already. As long as Aunt Natsuhi says she took a walk with Grandfather, and as long as no one can confirm that it's a lie, it's possible to display Aunt Natsuhi taking a walk into Rose Garden with Grandfather as Natsuhi's reality. That means it's possible for Grandfather to appear. I don't think I've ever done sound effects in this game. That extremely unflattering applause was coming from Berncastle.
Bravo. You're much calmer without Beato around.
Quiet. You shut up too.
Wait a second, Battler. According to your theory, sure, it might really be possible for Kinzo to appear if Natsuhi's the only person there. If Natsuhi claims to have observed Kinzo in a world with no one except Natsuhi in it, then no one can deny it, right? But Kanon was in the same place, and he was also looking at Kinzo, right? How would you explain that?
He's in on the lie. That's no problem at all. Kanon is a servant who works for the Ushiromiya family, and Natsuhi probably ordered him to keep to her story, so that she could hide Grandfather's death. Because of that, Kanon can see Grandfather even though he shouldn't exist, just like Aunt Natsuhi can. You act like that was difficult.
Too bad, Lambda. Battler isn't gonna fall for that kind of child's play anymore.
Seems so. Well, this is nothing more than an opening, before the game's really started. Like an aperitif before a meal.
Does that mean appetizer?
An appetizer at a bar, green tea at a sushi restaurant.
Shut up. So, we aren't gonna get anywhere unless I say it again in blue text, huh?
Looks like it. Would you mind?
The reason Grandfather's throwing around like nothing happened even though he's already dead is that people who want to make it seem as though he's alive created an illusion of him. People who think the same way can share in that illusion. Then, they'll talk as though Grandfather actually exists and was with them until a second ago. That's why he's strolling around like it's perfectly natural. Because of this, the illusion of Grandfather is unable to appear in front of people who aren't in on this with Aunt Natsuhi. That's why they made up the story of him shutting himself away in his study and refusing to come out. Okay then. In the games before now, Grandfather has always locked himself up in his study, except for Chapter 4, but that doesn't really matter. We never met him directly. However, some people said things that made us think he was locked up in his study in a bad mood, such as claiming to have met him only a short while ago. We blindly accepted their statements and believed that Grandfather was in the study. That's why it was possible for an illusion of Grandfather to exist in the study. That's right, in the games before now, the only people who met Grandfather were Uncle Kraus, Aunt Natsuhi, and the servants, because they all stuck to the same story. What about Nanjo? An illusion of Grandfather was able to exist on this island, making it seem like he was alive. You even showed us a scene at the beginning of this game, where Aunt Natsuhi convinced Dr. Nanjo and the rest to cover up Grandfather's death. I'm not gonna fall for a cheap trick like that after all this time.
Well, not bad. But I was hoping for the unknown drug Puru Puru Pika Puyo.
There's no way he'd say something so ridiculous, right? After all, supposing that such a thing exists would be just as bad as surrendering to the fantasy genre. Whether it's a virus or a drug or an illness, anything that hasn't been discovered yet is in violation of Nox's fourth commandment.
What the hell is that? What do you mean, fourth commandment?
Nox's fourth. It is forbidden for unknown drugs or difficult to understand scientific devices to be used. The rule states that such things can't be used during a murder.
What the hell? Unknown drug X and unknown scientific device X should be the best kinds of weapons to use when fighting against a witch.
That's what I'm talking about. All of those violate the rules of a proper mystery. Supposing an unknown virus, an unknown drug, an unknown sickness, or an unknown XXX was used puts it totally in the fantasy genre. My condolences. If that was your theory, then it's game over for you.
Says fucking who? Or, well, I guess says this Nox person. Nox sounds familiar, though. Was that like a real author or something? I'd have to look that up. Hey, what are you talking about?
You think you've been fighting in direct opposition to Beato, but that's not actually true. You haven't been in direct opposition, you've been fighting along with her from a slightly different angle. All this playing detective you've done hasn't been fantasy versus mystery, it's only been fantasy versus anti-fantasy.
I don't have a clue what you're talking about. But there's one thing I do get. It sounds like you're saying there's something wrong with my fighting style.
We're fighting to kill the fantasy known as the illusion of the witch. That means interpreting this tale as a proper mystery. In other words, from the very start, we have to ignore any and all elements that violate the taboos of the mystery genre.
Ignore, you say?
For example, several closed-room murders have occurred in the games before now, right?
Yeah. What is she going on about? At every single crime scene, you enthusiastically check with Beato to make sure there are no hidden doors, right? Then that leads to a flashy bunch of red truths weaving together all over the place. Almost as though that itself is the battle. I call that a waste of time. After all, it's clearly specified in Nox's third. It is forbidden for hidden passages to exist. In the mystery genre, hidden passages mustn't exist. So if you want to interpret everything as a proper mystery, entering this whole debate over whether there are hidden doors or not means you've lost from the beginning, see? After all, there aren't any. As soon as you suspect that they might exist, it's already game over for you. That's really weird. In other words, you assume you can't start theory building, just because no one's yet proven that hidden doors don't exist at the crime scene. That's why I call you naive and a failure at the mystery genre. You've already lost once you start thinking that. You thought you were waging a fight to interpret everything like a mystery novel, right? Then you've got to follow the conventions of the mystery genre. Oh, Burncastle was saying all of this. Burncastle's a hard voice to, laugh with.
Well, that's it in a nutshell. Hidden doors must not exist at any of the crime scenes. That means any time spent asking whether they exist or not is wasted.
I think I know what you're talking about. I've heard about it somewhere. Is this like the 10 basic rules for mystery novels or something? There's 10 rules?
Yeah, that's right. They're the 10 wedges for drilling witches brandished by Nox, the Purist Archbishop of witch hunting. Those are the true weapons with which to fight and defeat the fantasy known as the illusion of the witch head-on. It's just like you, Burn, to bring in such a troublesome weapon. That's the fantasy genre's arch-enemy.
What? So you'll deny the existence of hidden doors right from the start, without even investigating the crime scene? That sounds more like fantasy to me.
Lambda, who's in charge of the witches... Lambda, who's in charge of the witches side, is fantasy. I'm the one who's fighting her. Mystery. What are you? You're just barely anti-fantasy, doing nothing but dodging over and over and denying fantasy. You're opposed to absolutely everything, but you can't make any counter-proposals. You're like a politician from some country.
I wonder which country. Probably the United States. Shut up. I didn't come here to speak gibberish with you two. Continue the story right now.
Be quiet. That sleeping princess behind you looks like she's in pain, doesn't she?
When he turned around, he saw Beato's living corpse resting in a chair. I figured it was her again. However, sweat glistened all over her body, and it felt like she was breathing a little harder than normal. She looked as though she was suffering from a high fever. Beato, what's wrong? Are you okay?
What do you mean, is she okay? You sure do say some weird things. Aren't you fighting to kill this girl? We've rewound this 5th game for your benefit, but right now, Burn has done a good job cornering her opponent and is about to break through the illusion of the witch. Her existence has been almost completely denied. It's only natural that she's suffering.
Just now, even you smashed the illusion of the witch by saying there's no way Kinzo exists. Here's the proof that your attack reached Beato. This agony of hers.
I tried to at least wipe away the sweat on Beato's forehead with a handkerchief. It's true I promised Beato that I'd let her die, but it was supposed to happen peacefully. I wasn't planning to make her suffer first. My goal isn't to make the sleeping Beato suffer like this before killing her. As if they had seen right through to my mixed feelings, the two witches grinned. That is an interesting concept. And here we are, back at the mansion. I'd assume on that one conference day in 1985. Oh, hey, Rudolph, you're looking right at the screen. That is very new. Dad only overheard because you kept yelling about the inheritance, right, Anake? I mean, Eva. I forgot I'm not supposed to say those things because, I don't know why I don't, actually. I just decided not to.
It isn't my fault. It was just an unlucky coincidence, okay? He just happened to be in the corridor and heard. It was an accident, I tell you. An accident!
Could you two give it a rest? Just call it our bad luck this time and give it up. If you leave a man alone, his mood will pop right back to normal.
That is very true.
Hopefully Father's feelings weren't hurt so much that he writes up some strange will.
The relatives took a deep breath and fell silent.
Hey, you can't jump around either, Maria! What will you do if Angie falls?
Oh, Angie's here. Sorry to keep you waiting. The boat is ready.
Okay, let's go. Won't get anywhere by complaining now.
Goda! We eagerly await your return to this island. Oh, is this the end of that conference day, then? Are they going to the island or from the island? I'm assuming from. Natsu was sitting on a bench in the rose garden, looking completely worn out. However, when she noticed that Kanon and Kumasawa were coming back, she immediately sat up straight, regaining the dignity of the head's wife.
Did the boat leave?
Yes. It departed just a minute ago.
I see. Good job seeing them off. What is my husband doing?
He returned to his room a short while ago. He is resting. Since the previous day, Kraus had been almost overwhelmed by anxiety over the thought that Kinzo's death might be discovered. When the family conference ended, his weariness must have suddenly gotten a hold of him. However, the way he had refused to let even a sliver of his true intentions slip out, and the manner in which he had managed to act as though everything was normal, showed that Kraus's nerve was nothing to sneeze at.
How was it? Did they seem to notice anything suspicious about Father?
Not at all. Eva and the rest were having a big ruckus over how the master overheard them talking about the inheritance, right? Wasn't their panicking just priceless?
Yes, they were quite shaken up.
But Kumasawa, you really are quite an actress. The way you acted all panicked in the corridor made it seem like Father really was there.
Kumasawa is quite talented at that sort of thing. So Kumasawa's a good actress? That might be important to keep in mind.
Oh, come now, I don't deserve such praise. Ho 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 ho.
I always have to give Genji strict orders not to easily swallow your stories when you call in sick.
Now that's just too harsh, madame. Oh.
You really did a good job, both of you, as well as Genji and Shannon. We'll get your pay for a month's worth of past vacation time, as well as 5 extra days, just as promised. Consider this a conditional benefit.
Both of you as well as Genji... What about Goda?
Talk with Genji when you collect your pay so that the other servants don't find out.
Sure, we understand, right?
Kumasawa, your voice is too loud.
Oh, not good, not good. Ho ho ho.
Good point. Let's leave it at that for the time being. We should all return to our regular duties. That's right. I've had Goda prepare some special tea. Tell him to serve it.
Is Goda not in on the whole lie about Kinzo? I mean, I guess he wouldn't be serving him, would he? Natsu let them know she wanted to be left alone for a while, so she could drink some black tea in the rose garden. The black tea that had been carried all the way to the bench was the Sri Lankan tea Dimbula that she had promised Beato, along with some patis. Sitting on either side of the snack, staring at it curiously, the wife of the head and her witch could be seen.
So this is patis. I just assumed it would be some kind of baked sweet.
Apparently Natsuhi, not realizing that it had a curry-like spicy flavor, had started choking after putting it in her mouth. To describe it in Japanese terms, it was like fried dumplings stuffed with mashed curry-flavored potatoes. Can you explain it in American terms? As a household dish, it would probably be pretty popular with the kids. I hate spicy food. I've mentioned this multiple times on my channel, I'm sure. But spicy foods just take away the taste of the actual food. Once you put sriracha sauce on, like, your, fucking, I don't know, your pork chop or whatever, congratulations, you're eating fucking salt or some shit. However, it was something of a shock to Natsuhi, who expected that a treat to go with tea would be sweet. Didn't you know? Dimbula always goes with this. Black tea always goes with cookies. Oh, but chocolate is good too. You must have sweet bean jelly with Japanese tea. Although salted konbu also works. Chinese tea goes with Chinese dumplings, though I like mooncakes too. I'm surprised. You know a lot about various cultures, don't you? Well, I haven't been living 1,000 years for nothing. I've tried refined teas from all over the world. Perhaps you could call it a journey through the world of tea. That's an interesting life, isn't it? That does seem like it would be a wonderful way to travel the world. Before today, I never knew that one could enjoy tea like this. I will treasure this experience. I cannot leave Rokkenjima. This is the only way I can travel. What about you? I did not mean to right click. I'm sure you've elegantly traveled the world like any wealthy wife might. Before Jessica was born, my husband took me to many countries. Before marrying, I never once traveled overseas, so each time was a fresh and new experience. Sounds like you were also born in a very rigid family. It was strict, but they gave me a wonderful upbringing. It'd be rude to my father and mother to call that rigid. That's a pretty eloquent way to call it rigid. Kraus might have pitied Natsuhi. Or he might have wanted to take her away from the rigid Ushiromiya family for a little bit and let her rest. Or he might simply have wanted to take his wife around countries he knew well, to show off everything he knew. Unlike father, my husband is fond of Asian nations. Hong Kong, Taiwan, Korea, Thailand. I think we also went to Malaysia. Yeah, that Kraus, was he trying to rebel against Kinzo's Western tastes? But Asia is good too. After all, the Japanese are strongly influenced by the West. When they think of foreign countries, only Western ones come to mind. But you mustn't forget the East. I myself knew a few things about the West, but I knew very little about the East. I seem to recall my husband making fun of me now and then during our travels. Beato suddenly peered into Natsuhi's heart, as the latter grumbled that the trips had all been very tiring. And so, the first CG. I'm gonna assume this is Natsuhi and Kraus on a trip. Are you listening? This is called an areca nut. It's a popular luxury food item around here. It looked like a small, round, gourd-like nut that had been smashed, with cucumber wedged in it. At a glance, it looked as though it would probably taste like pickles. What? I see. So I just bite it here? As she tried to bite the one her husband was holding, he suddenly moved it away. It felt kind of embarrassing, like she was a fish after some bait. Whoa, wait up! You have to eat it a certain way. Yes, you are supposed to bite it. Bite it. Chew it. But don't swallow it. Huh? Even though you bite and chew it, you can't swallow it? Yes. Bite and chew, don't swallow. And don't drink the juice. It'll make your stomach hurt. I don't understand. Why would you eat something like that? Think of it as something like gum. Chew it and enjoy the flavor. Then take the scraps you've bitten and the juice and spit it out into a paper cup like this. Oh wow. This is a very interesting background. Dear, the inside of your mouth is bright red. Wipe it off, wipe it off! Eek! Even her favorite handkerchief, which she had wiped Kraus's mouth with, had bright red marks on it. Something that's poisonous if eaten or drunk, and it makes the inside of your mouth so bright red. And having to spit something out after you put it in your mouth. How indecent. Thinking this, Natsuhi adamantly refused Kraus's invitation. No way, I don't need any. This is a cross-cultural experience. What's the point of traveling if we don't do things that can only be done here? Kraus kept chewing, ignoring the fact that even his lips were being colored bright red. Father likes these too. He must have ordered them long ago, because he used to chew away at them on the mansion's terrace. Although, it seems he stopped ever since you arrived. Look here.
Father, the person you respect even more than me, enjoyed these all the time. Look, don't be shy, take some.
No, stop it, dear!
During travel, Kraus had the innocence of a child. He didn't even conceal his jealousy of the respect Natsu normally gave Kinzo. Just being able to see that side of her husband made traveling all the way to another country worthwhile. Kraus urged her even harder to bite it, but Natsu, undaunted, ran from place to place and finally yelled that he was being too pushy. Kraus was miffed the whole bus ride. What a child, to let a little thing like this get him down. Natsu, he thought exasperatedly. Then, a native tour guide in the bus took out one of those areca nuts and started explaining about it. It had apparently been a beloved luxury item in these parts since ancient times, similar to tobacco. Just like in Natsu's case, it was starting to be disliked by young people and was becoming obsolete. Furthermore, it was treated as a good luck charm in this area, and was known as a symbol for couples. She looked at her husband's face. He turned away abruptly, but it looked like his cheeks had gotten a little red.
So? You then leaned on your husband and held his hand, did you? What the heck? You and your husband share a pretty pure love, don't you? Did you get all fired up, you know, like that night?
Red-faced and avoiding Beato's eye, Natsu tried to hide her embarrassment by swallowing the Petite's whole, chewing with her cheeks puffed out like a blowfish. Beato said, "Yep, this is the best snack anyone could have with tea," and nodded several times, a broad smile on her face.
However, that's only how it was when we were newlyweds. Right now, I cannot even leave Rokkanjima. I'm a bird in a cage. Well, it's the same for me. I can keep dying, but I just can't escape Rokkanjima. I'm also a bird in a cage. I don't know much about you, and I won't pry. However, I do see that you face circumstances not to be taken lightly. I have no desire to act like chief prisoner here. Let's be friendly as fellow birds in this cage. I've taken a liking to you. Really? Thank you. The instructions and orders you gave the servants for this family conference were superb. You took everything from where Kinzo would be and when, what he did, and what he left behind, and put it all together splendidly without any contradictions. That detailed, written plan of yours had the same beauty as a high-level magic circle. To make it look like Kinzo actually existed and was living life his own way, she had written his schedule for the day down to the finest detail and made the servants follow it to the letter. When did he meet whom and where, and what did he leave them? When did he do what and where, and what changed? As a result, even though the relatives never saw Kinzo even once, they hadn't suspected in the slightest that he hadn't been there. Even the rest truly believed that Kinzo had just happened to be walking through the hall when he heard them talking about the inheritance and went into a rage. Everything had gone just as Natsu's plan had predicted, down to the finest detail. And the cooperation by the servants had also worked smoothly, down to the finest detail. We had to stop the secret from getting out no matter the cost. That's why I double-checked the plan thoroughly. Your willpower and attention to detail summon success with certainty. As of which, it seems that you're in Lady Lambda Delta's camp. At your current level, as soon as you become self-aware of that as magic, you will be worthy of calling yourself a witch apprentice. If you call something like that magic, then that would make Kumasawa the witch of feigned illnesses. It's only on busy days that she calls us to say she's taking the day off because of her bad back. Like every year's family conference, for example. Oh no, you've got Kumasawa completely wrong there. She's a witch of a much, much higher level. If you knew what she really was, it'd shock you. Is that implying something like with Virgilia or something? Because there is still that parallel there, right? Watching these two have their pleasant chat was another pair with steam rising from their black tea. However, the second pair was in a world that the first couldn't see, where golden roses bloomed. Ronove was kind enough to make us some of that Dimbula tea too. Oh. It felt as though Beato muttered something. For the first time, it felt as though something had gotten through to her. Surely, she had taken an interest in the black tea and felt like drinking it. Thinking this, Battler took Beato's cup and held her hand, making her hold the cup. Interesting. Beato's eyes trembled sadly, and her fingers shook.
almost as though she couldn't even move her fingers if she wanted to, and was mourning the fact that she could no longer enjoy the tea she had once loved by her own power. That's how she looked. So Battler put his hand on Beato's, grabbed hold of the teacup, and lifted it to her lips. Then, though it was only a single mouthful, Beato sipped. The days they had been locked in a killing fest with red swords and blue wedges already seemed like the distant past. Now, not only was Beato unable to do that, it was even difficult for her to make her body do as she pleased. Even just drinking a mouthful of black tea like this was hard. How is it? That rose aroma makes for a great black tea. Do you like it? Of course, Beato didn't respond. What happened to you? Is this another strategy? Are you pretending to be in a slump so you can shock me later? And then she pouts. If that's what you're after, the same trick won't work again, so give it a rest. I can't get fired up with you like this. Hey, isn't it about time for you to start laughing loudly, saying, "Cut you dumbass" or something? Any kind of joke stops being funny if you drag it out too much, especially if it's a rehash. Laugh! Just like you're cackling over there as you drink with Aunt Natsuhi. Huh. Can't you at least grin? Oh, and then she talks. Never again. This child will never laugh again. Those sudden words were exceedingly cruel. Oh, that was Berncastle. Oops. How can you say that for sure? Don't you try to take Beato's right to laugh away from her. Oh, should I say it in red then? I shook my head furiously. Then, with an expression that didn't reveal her thoughts in the slightest, Berncastle spoke while looking at Beato's face, and the word she used was completely incomprehensible to me. Congratulations. For what? Beato is like this as a result of your victory. What are you talking about? You said something interesting in a previous game. You said this would be torture where you both torment each other. That was right. It's torture for Beato as well. And you won that torture game. That's why Beato's soul was killed, and she became a doll-like corpse. Are you saying I did this to Beato? The battle ends when one of you loses the will to try and win. As far as the battle between you and Beato goes, that was already concluded in the previous game. Well, it probably happened without you noticing, though. In that case, why hasn't the game ended if I've already won? Why is this game still continuing? The shackle attached to that girl's ankle. That's a rule Lambda made. Even if Beatrice tries to yield or gets discouraged or gives up, she isn't capable of stepping down from the game. That's the rule, or maybe it's a curse. Okay. In the past, I supported you when it looked like you were gonna give in, though you probably couldn't perceive it. I assisted you by giving you hints and making things go your way. That's why you're able to be here now. Remember? Remember how I saved you? In that one tea party in Chapter 1, right? Berncastle stared at me. It's true I wasn't aware of it, but just maybe, I was saved by her. In the same way, Lambda is supporting Beato. And this time, Beato is on the verge of giving in. That's why Lambda's been giving her support this round, to keep her from giving in. That's what the shackle is. By refusing to let her resign, she's rescued Beato within the game. Okay. Rescued her from what? Normally, there are two ways for this game to end. Either one side will accept defeat and resign, or one side will win the game with a checkmate. Beato was about to collide with the first way. That's why Lambda crushed that chance, and managed to just barely avoid losing. By the rules of this game, that's an impressive bit of support. So the only way this game can end now is if I win. At the very least, until I do win, this witch called Lambda Delta can probably try to buy time for Beato to make a comeback. But that'll just prolong Beato's suffering even more. Neither of us want that. Both Beato and I fought with all we had, trying to win. The game repeated several times because we were both giving it everything we could muster. Beatrice wasn't, though. Wasn't she? Like, in the secret tea party in Chapter 4, like, the whole point of that was Berncastle and Lambda Delta saying how, Beatrice wasn't giving it her all.
Like, she was lying and conceding with dumb things like the small bombs in the chapel. Then that one time, we confronted each other head-on with all of our strength, and Beato acknowledged her loss. She said she wanted me to end this game and entrusted everything to me. So Berncastle's words are the truth. She said it's my fault Beato's become a living corpse. That's true, but it's something both of us wanted. Huh. Our match has already been resolved. Even so, the game won't end. That's why Beato put her trust in me. She told me to win quickly and end this game. Now that the game's been resolved, letting it continue any further means endless torture for Beato. Nothing more than a nightmare. I've got to give her a perfect checkmate and end this game in the truest sense, and let her rest in peace. For that reason, I'll keep fighting, but by continuing the game, Beato's eternal torture will continue. It felt as though I could only let her sleep peacefully by slowly strangling her to death. I'm starting to feel like truth doesn't matter anymore. As long as Beato's satisfied, who cares what happens in the game? Beato resigned. I'll abandon the truth of the illusion of the witch and return home with my family. Is there anything wrong with that? If only Lambda Delta hadn't placed the curse of that shackle on her, this battle would be over already. That's why I found it detestable. This witch, which I can't finish without tormenting Beato more, is detestable.
What's this? Beato's starting to look like she's in pain every time you get closer to the truth. So you're suddenly going easy on her? Then go easier on her as much as you can. And why don't you just let Beato win while you're at it? Then your little sister can have a lonely, tragic future forced on her endlessly.
That's not how it is. That's right. I have to return for Angie's sake as well. I know this isn't the time to start feeling compassion for Beato.
In that case, make sure you kill her. Kill this witch without fail.
Even though Beato was right there, Berncastle spoke without holding back.
Your goal is to kill this woman. In the last game, you said it at Beato's request. You said, I'll kill you.
Yeah, that may be true, but that doesn't mean you get to complain about it. Wait. Okay, yeah, that is what you said.
Did you know? When you tear one of your fingernails out, it's better to do it in one go.
What's with all these Higurashi tie-ins? Specifically with Berncastle and Lambda Delta. It's interesting. It is very interesting.
Pulling it out like you do, timidly, twisting and slow, hurts much, much more. What you're doing sounds much more like torture to me.
But they still pulled in... Okay, they did pull out her fingernails, like, immediately with that device, didn't they? In Higurashi. I guess the parallels between Berncastle and Rika and Lambda Delta and Satoko really are there, but... Lambda Delta... Satoko wasn't even that important to the grand scheme of things, was she? Like, all there was, she was being abused by her uncle, and her older brother was missing. That's all there was.
If you have any compassion, kill her all at once. That's how killing works.
That's none of your business. I'm the one who gets to decide how to perform her last rites. You and that Lambda Delta witch have nothing to do with this. I'll kill her. I won't let anyone else do it.
As long as you don't lose that willpower. I'm betting on you, okay? Make sure you don't forget. Unless this game is resolved, you will never be released. You won't be allowed to abandon this game either.
I get it.
I know what Lambda's after. She wants to make you lose your will to fight just like Beato. To make you a pair of living dolls. To keep this world in perpetual equilibrium. You don't want that, do you? I wouldn't like it either.
Why should I give a damn about what you want? Still, I won't throw this game away. I won't abandon my responsibility to fight against Beato.
I'm glad our goals are the same. So you'll be able to kill this child without any hesitation, right?
That's right. I have no way of knowing whether those words eased her pain or hurt her, but I can tell by the dull tingling in my chest that I surely believe I've hurt her. I have no way of knowing what the silent Beato feels. If I think I've hurt her, does that mean she's actually been hurt? And if I didn't think I'd hurt her, would that mean no one's gotten hurt because of me? That is something, isn't it?
So, about that Beato who's drinking tea over there with Natsuhi, you can handle that, right?
Yeah, no problem.
It's the same as it was with Kinzo. Beatrice doesn't exist. This is a fake illusion of a witch that Natsuhi created, since she believes she was borrowing a witch's power when she thought up a brilliant plan to overcome hardship. It only looks like they're drinking together, because Lambda Delta, who's the game master and the one telling the story, interpreted it that way. If you could stare at the scene without a fragment of love for Natsuhi, you wouldn't see an illusion like that. That's why with my eyes, all I can see is Natsuhi all alone, drinking her tea in silence.
Without love, it cannot be seen. Because love is lacking, it cannot be seen.
You're looking at a daydream Natsuhi's showing us. Beatrice doesn't exist there.
Okay. Beato mangled? I was about to say what? Beato mumbled softly. It was a small voice that made it sound like she was in pain. The thorn of Berncastle's truth had stabbed into her chest. Yeah, that's probably true. I think your theory's right. But don't say that in front of Beato.
It doesn't matter where I say it. This is Beato's world we're in.
Also, it's not like I'm protecting Beato, but it's still possible Aunt Natsuhi really is drinking tea with some unknown person X, who calls himself Beatrice. This scene takes place a year before everything. The number of people on the island on this day has never been shown with the red truth.
Sure. Even Lambda hasn't said anything in red about the number of people on Rokonjima on this day.
In that case, it's possible for Aunt Natsuhi to claim that she really did drink tea with a woman calling herself Beatrice. Just like I can't deny your theory, you can't deny mine. That means you can't say for sure whether the Beato there is an illusion or not.
No, is this catbox theory? That might have worked on Beato, but it won't work on me.
Why not?
After all, Natsuhi is drinking tea all by herself right there.
Okay. There was a violent sound of glass breaking. How come the, I should say mystery side, the side against Beatrice can use the red truth there? Berncastle? You're confusing me. There was a violent sound of glass breaking, and the Beato who laughed happily and cracked jokes about Natsuhi's newly led years was erased. A lonely wind blew, and the one person who remained on the bench drinking tea with a tired expression was Aunt Natsuhi, all by herself. Beato groaned. I could see clearly that she was in anguish. Show me anguish! Another illusion of the witch had been smashed, drawing Beato towards death. In short, this is what the battle to let Beato rest in peace is all about. A second ago, Berncastle likened our fight to the torture of tearing fingernails out. If I have to tear them out anyway, then my last bit of compassion towards Beato should be to minimize that pain. In other words, even if I want to minimize her pain, I still have to cause it. I have to accept that look of anguish on her face. Again, show me anguish! And at that same time, I realized what a merciless thing the red truth was. Right now, in this rose garden, there's no one except Aunt Natsuhi. In other words, there are no observers except for Aunt Natsuhi. So if that lone observer were to say that she'd had some tea with Beato, no one should be able to refute that. If there's something no one can deny, doesn't that mean it's truth? Aunt Natsuhi is enjoying the roses and drinking tea together with Beato. How could anyone have the right to mercilessly trample that pleasant moment? The red truth is like a blade. In a battle with a witch, it's a blade that sometimes tears your theories apart, but sometimes becomes a weapon you can fight back with.
I know, so what?
Don't use it without reason. A blade is a tool if you use it when you're supposed to, but it's a weapon if you use it out of malice. True enough, Aunt Natsuhi wasn't really drinking tea with a witch. However, saying that with the red truth probably has nothing to do with our game. Our game is the tale of October 1986. The 2 days of the crime give us more than enough time to injure each other, with our red and blue blades glistening. This isn't about the illusion of the witch, it's about Aunt Natsuhi's privacy. How could anyone have the right to expose that?
Do you want to acknowledge that a witch actually existed here and drank tea with Natsuhi? Weren't you trying to deny the existence of witches? That's right, if we're talking about our game, the 2-day period from October 4th to October 5th in 1986, but I have no desire to question whether or not witches exist outside that game board. In the first place, the devil's proof argument makes it impossible to deny the existence of witches. And, according to the rules of this game, saying something like what you did in red is a forbidden move that leads to a stalemate. You can't deny the existence of witches, not even with the red truth. True. I never thought I'd hear you talk so glibly about witches existing. Not bad, Lambda. You've done a good job getting Battler stuck between his human culprit theory and the idea that witches existing wouldn't be so bad. She really excels at controlling human hearts. Looks like I'd better start helping you out even more. I really couldn't care less about you two. Disappear. This game is between Bato and me. We're gonna keep this game to ourselves. No way. What? After all, I'm enjoying this game too. Christ. Burncastle disappeared, leaving only that unpleasant laugh behind. Huh. After that, all that remained was Natsuhi, sipping tea all alone. Bayato, her hand still on the teacup as she stared blankly at the surface of the liquid. And me. Burncastle and Lambda Delta. Virgilia called them your friends, but you really should choose your friends more carefully. Or wait, maybe they actually make a good match with an ill-natured person like you. Bayato didn't answer. Battler took Bayato's hand, made her hold the cup again, and brought it to her lips. Bayato made a quiet sound in her throat and drank another gulp. Then Natsuhi's lonely tea time ended. That truth, which was Natsuhi's alone and observed by no one else, had been defiled. In Natsuhi's world, surely, that tea party, which had been peaceful despite her annoyance at Bayato for making fun of her too much, came to an end and the two of them parted ways. However, in Natsuhi's exposed truth, she was all alone. Natsuhi tottered away. On the bench, only a single person's cup remained. Huh. I'm glad that little snippet there was short, because I was about to end the episode before reading that. Very interesting. Battler really is kind of caught between, like, he does, I wouldn't say he loves Beatrice like a lover, but he at least likes her, right? And again, not like as in, like love, I mean like as in, like, cool person, I don't really mind you. At least anymore, he obviously used to hate her. Oh well. That's gonna be it for this episode, guys. If you liked it, be sure to press the like button, and if you didn't like it, fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!